For the last 24 hours, I've been playing around with Prospeo's new database feature, and here are my honest thoughts. For context, at RevGrowth, we send roughly 600,000 cold emails per month, and whenever there's a new data source that comes out, we're always very quick to start testing them just to see how it performs compared to our typical waterfall. When this update came out, I knew that I really had to get on this just because Prospeo is already one of our main data providers, and it's something that we use in every single campaign that we build, and it's definitely one of the most accurate data sources that I found after being in this space for three plus years. For context, Prospeo is, like I said, super accurate, and it tends to be data that other providers just don't find, especially when it comes to mobile data. So if that's something you're looking for, Prospeo is most likely the tool for you. In this video, I'll be sharing 3 use cases that I plan on using this database for, and that will also give you a really good idea of how you can use this new database feature. So the first use case is a simple sort of quick TAM analysis, especially when new clients onboard, and as well giving you an idea of your sending volume, especially just to get at the validated emails. When you first start with a new list, you typically just get a lot more noise that actually won't be sent emails. This way, with this new database, you're able to pull this data together extremely quickly without having to think too much. So let me refresh this page right here. So this is what it'll look like. Yeah, so the interface is very, very similar to anything that you might have seen in the past, especially compared to Apollo. It's essentially the same sort of layout. And the way that we'll be doing this for the quick TAM analysis will be, and one of the great features is that all of the company features, like in this companies tab, can also be found on the people tab. So that saves you quite a bit of time. But first, we will just be looking for, we'll do hotels, so boutique hotel, just to, because in this, for example, in this case, you're selling some type of service to hotels in the, let's say, US. So we'll do that. And then you just want to know, before getting into enriching this list, it's good to know how many people you can actually target, and then as well how many companies exist in this ICP. So cool. So hotel, boutique, and then one of the quick checks, you'd be able to add sort of the employee count that you're looking for. And I don't typically see this, at least not that I can remember, but it's good to see that, okay, if I went for, let's say this was my ICP, 11 to 200, we know that we have 35,000 people total. And then let's say we only wanted to deal with people that were founders, C-suite, partners, VP, all of these, all the way to manager. So it puts us down to 15,000 people. Good. And then sort of for even more quality control, we could make sure that they have a verified email with Prospeo already. So you're not spending any credits on anything that you still need to sort of figure out if they actually have a valid email. You'd have 6,700, and you know that this is a relatively accurate list. I would still personally enrich these leads just to make sure that they're actually hotels in this case. And I would also add a lot more keywords. This is just, if you're doing this in 2 minutes, you get an idea that you'd have 6,700 people to send to this ICP. And then for you, just in terms of how many emails you're looking to send per month, it tells you how many other, how big you'd actually have to build this list. And it gives you a really honest idea of, okay, I have 6,700 people. If I sort of send 2 emails per person, I'm looking at roughly 13,000 emails per month. And let's say I wanted to send 30,000. I know this list alone won't be enough to do so. So that's really the idea there. And as well, another thing I would like to mention is just, I would honestly assume that maybe 75% of this list is accurate, 75 to 85%. Or not that it's accurate, it's that it's going to be valid and that these companies will fit for what you're looking for. You can also add other criteria. Like I said, you didn't want to send to more than 10 people per company, then you get an even more honest idea. So lots that you can do here. So I'll clear that. So going into the second use case is sort of let's say you're a CRM integrations type of company, and you need to make sure they have some type of specific technology. So tools that you might be using in the past would be as well Apollo, built with as well. But now that you can do it directly with this tool right here, let me see if you can actually just do it in people. Technology. Yeah, right here. Perfect. So we can apply the exact same thing. So let's say we run some type of agency where we help people integrate HubSpot, or we need to make sure that they actually have HubSpot. Let's make that the use case. Again, we want to make sure that they are in the companies are in the US, and this time we'll also want to make sure that the people are in the US. For this example, we want to deal with only the founder, C-suite, and partners at these companies. And then maybe, and hypothetically, we'd want to only deal with maybe law practice type of companies for this specific list. Don't really have an idea why, but just wanted to show that feature. And then as well, in terms of headcount, we can see, well, typically you'd want to work with probably larger companies just because those are the types of companies that use HubSpot to its fullest potential and have a need for it. So let's say 500 to 5,000 employees. And then we have all the partners at these law firms in the US, and the people are actually in the US, and and we will actually add the contact details and the verified emails. Okay. So we have 1,600 verified emails. We know all these people would be valid leads. And even if you really wanted to, something I didn't mention before would be adding their mobile number. So if you wanted to run sort of a multi-touch type of approach, you could also make sure that verified email and verified mobile are turned on. So at the end of this, we'd have 1,600 people with valid emails and phone numbers that you can call, text, email, and even send via LinkedIn, because we do get their LinkedIn URLs as you enrich these leads. So that's another way that you would do this. But again, you get a super quick idea. How many of these companies are actually on HubSpot? Would they be within my ICP? And you can always add way more details into here. This is also the first time that I've ever seen NAICS codes and SIC codes being used in here. So very, very cool to see that. I've never seen a data platform do that before. So that would be use case number 2. So let's clear this. And then the third use case is if you're a little bit more advanced, the API is extremely valuable. And let me show you why. So if you pull up their API docs, this is what the first page looks like. What we're interested in is this enrich people or enrich person endpoint. So big thing here is for 1 credit, you're able to get the person's data, the company data, so you don't have to pay for that company data. And then as well, you can still have that filter that you only get charged for a credit if there's a valid email. So that's a huge benefit. And they mentioned right here, you can control where you spend, only for verified emails, only for records with phone numbers. So that's huge. And then if there's no results found, you don't get charged, which is awesome. And then another really cool feature that I haven't seen with any other data provider is you won't be charged to enrich the same record if you ask for it again, which is really, really fantastic, especially if you're always sort of enriching, like if you're working with multiple clients in similar industries, then you're going to naturally sort of enrich the same people. This way, you don't have to think about it. You don't need another database that you're looking into while you're building lists or before even getting to this stage. You're able to just get started, and they will protect you from just spending twice the credits for the same lead. But yeah, so as I said, you get the LinkedIn URL from this data, and then really the coolest thing is getting that. Let me see if I can pull it up. So right here, it's you get all the company data, which you can easily enrich on your own. And you could even run some type of workflow where you really, if you wanted to get the company data before finalizing this, and not pay for these credits right here, you could do something along the lines of pulling all the companies that you want, putting a cap of 1 person per company. I forget where I did that, but putting a cap that you only want 1 person per company. And then from there, you can validate those companies and then bring them back into here and then enrich. But then I think at that point, you're better off just using APIs than actually going back and forth. But that's another way that you could run this. But yeah, so really, really exciting stuff. This searching capability is also really massive. So in the past, like ways that you've normally done this would always just be first name, last name, and then the website. Having these as well, company LinkedIn and the company name, will probably also get you even more coverage than doing this in the past. So yeah, really, really awesome. Excited to see how this evolves over time. And it's like when sort of these, let me just pull this out. Once these these integrations get added, where you'll be able to push directly to Clay, that'll be awesome. And then even N8N workflows off of this would also be awesome. So yeah, really, really excited for this. Very happy that the Prospeo team put this together. And yeah, so that's it for this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.